Listen to me. Mr. Waternoose was the OG example of rich or poor. If you're desperate enough, you'll become neither. Mr. Waternoose is the CEO of Monsters Incorporated. It is a business that has been in his family for the last 3 generations. There is a board of directors, but he controls its infrastructure. He was solely responsible for providing power to the entire city. And Monsters Incorporated is a power supply company. And how they get their power is from the screams of human children. They have these doors, and the doors are almost like a bridge between their world and the human world. So they enter through the kid's closet, scare the hell out of them, absorb the power, and then get the hell out of Dodge. That's the whole premise of the company. The company had fallen into a steep investigation by the CDA because of some illegal activity. They couldn't exactly figure out why, so they sent their top man, or woman, slug, creature, Roz, the big boss, posing undercover as the keymaster and administrator of Scare Floor F. You see, the CDA stands for Child Detection Agency. They did not fuck around when it came to the strict regulations of interacting with human children. 2319! We have a Keep those motherfuckers over there at all costs. If we see you even interact with a child in camaraderie, your ass is getting 2319. If we see you touch anything that a child owns, your ass is getting 2319. Real fucking strict. We need something like that going on in the real world. Randall and Fungus. Randall just had the idea. Fungus did all the mechanical work. They create an idea to siphon screams from human children. So they would kidnap them and then run trial phases, siphon the kid dry, and then toss the body someplace. Maybe throw them right back into bed. They're gonna be dead by the end of it, because if these monsters are getting sucked away like that, what do you think's gonna happen to a 5-year-old? That kid is finished. The CDA gets some wind of some of these things, but they can't really prove it. So they've been burrowing in deep within the company for some time, just so they can get more and more information in regards to this. However, they had no idea that Mr. Waternoose was the one who okayed this project. He's the one funding this project. I believe it's obvious that Mr. Waternoose and Randall have been colluding for far longer than the movie shows us. It makes you think, what were the trial phases for this machine really like? You would assume that this is the prototype, but I'm not so sure because they were too confident that this would work. It makes you think that they've kidnapped children already to test this thing out. And considering how it left old boy, it's safe to say that those kids were never seen again. Mr. Waternoose, super wealthy ass businessman, could have jumped ship years ago. I believe aside from the money and the status, control, and power, he did have some genuine love for the city and its people. On the surface, he came across as a fair, trustworthy crab, insect, whatever the he's supposed to be. His intentions seemed to come from a genuine place. His political power was waning. He was beginning to lose his way given all the pressure of the new age development. The city had only gotten bigger since he started this company. As thriving infrastructure naturally does, more restaurants, more theaters, gyms, and all kinds of shit their city was cooking on. Monstropolis was popping, and it got to the point where scaring wasn't enough to sustain it anymore. The city was really growing so fast, his company couldn't maintain it. He knew that, and the CDA knew that too. He had maybe a few years tops before they either got rid of him or the city lost power completely. Both outcomes affect his life points directly. He couldn't have that and had to do something, and he had to do it fast. Scaring was his passion, his life's work. It was so polarizing that it was their way of life. It was no different than an electrician, only if being an electrician low-key made you a celebrity. Scaring was a true art form, but over the years, that sensationalism was beginning to lose its luster. It was getting to the point where very few appreciated it, like Mr. Waternoose and Sully. It was how they bonded. That's why Mr. Waternoose grew to love Sully so much. Sully was a prodigy, never mind a child. There's not a person alive that wouldn't run from this shit. Especially if you're caught off guard, which is the point of scaring. They pull up on the kid sleeping, give him a heart attack while they're at their most vulnerable state. Probably saw that hunger in him that he had back in the day, which is understandable, but we aren't back in the day anymore. And at this point in the story, Sully was keeping the lights on in that bitch. Every month, no, every week, no, every day, he was the top scarer. He was on the way up, and if the circumstances were different, Sully proved to be a likely candidate to taking over the company one day. Per usual, Mr. Waternoose had an old head way of thinking and refused to evolve for the better, and got so desperate to maintain what little semblance of order he built, he began working with that mediocre ass second fiddle Randall. No lie, I always thought Randall's design was fire. The way he'd camouflage was cold too. He could have actually killed somebody if he wanted to. Could you imagine if Randall was playing for keeps? That would have been a different story. Dope character and had some pretty believable motivations. He wanted to be the top man. He was a hater. I mean, come on, we got people doing that today with even less motivation than he had. He ends up getting hemmed up, and let's keep it real here. What the hell you gonna do if Sully gets them paws on you, right? The only character we know giving Sully a run for his money is that damn Yeti. It's hard to say just how that meeting between Mr. Waternoose, Randall, and Fungus could have gone, cause Fungus was a smart dude. He really was just along for the ride to an extent. He built the damn machine. Randall took all the credit for it, but as I said prior, he was the brains behind the mechanical work. But he had the backbone equivalent to a wet noodle, and deserved whatever he got. The fact that he wasn't jailed or exiled to the South is beyond me. Lucky it wasn't my decision.
Take him to Detroit. No!
I don't know how they could ever trust him again, but he looked happy and reformed at the ending, so I'll take that for what it is. This is my hypothesis on how it all went down. Randall was already familiar with Fungus. Since Fungus had no friends and nobody liked either of them, they became one and two. Kind of like Randall's man in the chair, similar to Mike and Sully. Randall did some snooping, found out Mr. Waternoose was falling short, hemorrhaging money. Company didn't have much time left. Before everyone else find out about a power deficit, Randall proposes an idea. Why don't we just take the screams? Mr. Waternoose says, how the f you gonna do that? Better yet, shut the f up, cause I have a top man on the job. The homie Sullivan is gonna turn us around. Randall says that bum ain't gonna do but watch this company burn, because he ain't got the nuts. I'm a better scarer than him anyway. Waternoose checks his ass. Well, we both know that ain't true, cause he's been mollywopping your ass on the score sheet every month. No, every week. No, every day. You cool and all, but you're not that guy, pal. You should show some respect. Randall says, look, you don't have to believe me. Time will tell, old man. But know this, you won't have what you want unless you're willing to take it. Or have you forgotten that on your journey to the top? As Randall exits the room, Waternoose ponders that, thinking, damn, that chiclet teeth, sickly looking, forearm, purple, gecko looking motherfucker is right. The CDA is on the way, and they're gonna shut my ass down. I gotta do something. He eventually buckles, calls back Randall and says, how do we do this? Giving Randall the funds for this venture. Randall gets the bread, returns to Fungus, and coerced him to partner up, and they begin the project under everybody's nose. It's clear that Mr. Waternoose didn't partner with Randall because he liked him. The entire purpose of this machine was for them to eventually phase scaring out of the business process entirely. They just had to prove it effective, and once they did, not even the CDA could stop them. The laws would have to be changed. Waternoose is fully aware of this plan, and still gets offended when he hears a specific remark made by Randall, not really directed at Sully, but at the concept of being a scarer as a whole.
With this machine, we won't need scarers. Besides, Sullivan got what he deserved.
Sullivan was twice the scarer you will ever be.
Because nobody embodied that like Sully. And both of them in this case are turncoats, really. Morally compromised. Each of them are on some hoe with this kind of activity. And Mr. Waternoose is aware of that and still feels guilty for it. But not enough to stop. He comes at Randall's neck for even hinting the idea. Throws his inferiority in his face at a moment's notice. And chances are he's seen what this machine can do. Enough to be confident that it'll work. He knew what he was doing was wrong and said, them kids, Jack, I'm about my paper. Did you see how hard Mr. Waternoose hit him? Sully is a big dude, one of the largest characters in the series that we've seen. Sully weighs about 700 plus, 766 on the wiki. Slapped the dog out of old boy.
Man, fuck out the way.
He even shuffled his shoulders before he did it. Hit him with all forearm. Effortlessly slapped a 700 plus, damn near 800 pound monster over a bed. Cleared it. He had Sully big ass terrified. Sully got smaller in that confrontation. He could have been throwing them bows if given the chance. Whop! It got beyond kidnapping the children. He was willing to kill anybody that got in his way, without hesitation, and Sully was no exception. CDA watched all of that from the two-way glass. With that level of power, I don't think the CDA could just hold him without somebody getting hurt. Where the tasers at? Somebody bring his ass to the ground. And Boo watched it all. She saw that like, damn, fight back, nigga. I didn't know OG was packing power like that. I remember watching that for the first time. That threw me completely off guard. You can't judge a book by its cover. And that process is one he should have lived by, because that's exactly how he got brought down. Playing in everybody's face, thought everyone was dumb. Mike Wazowski outsmarted his ass, bringing him and his empire down with him. In the end, he goes to jail, and Randall is exiled to the South. I've heard whispers that some think that the charges didn't stick, and that he was a catch and release. And to be honest, after getting arrested by the CDA, even though he lost all his power and backing, Sully saved Monstropolis with the implementation of laughter. They have no use for him anymore. So, who's to say? What I can say, the way they were 23-19 and I don't know if that theory is true. This brings one last question. Could Mr. Waternoose be redeemed? Hell no. And you know why? How could you possibly redeem a motherfucker who is willing to say this in confidence?
I'll kidnap 1,000 children before I let this company die, and I'll silence anyone who gets in my way!